a Zoom cue here today? Who knows? Okay, we'll just start up. Since today is the launch of a major religious movement, I figure we needed to have a prop here. So, first off, thank you for having me here. For those of you who don't know, I'm Jim Powers. I go by he, him. I and my wife, Jean, have been attending this church on and off for 20 years plus. Of course, when I say on, I mean Jean, and when I say off, I mean me. However, before I begin, I feel I should give you some warning. I'm a retired teacher, and there will be a quiz at the end. I strongly suggest you take notes. Hiding in the back pews will not help you. I have very good vision. Anybody who has spent more than 20 minutes with me understands that I don't let facts get in the way of a good story. As my son put it best when he said, quote, "I have a tenuous relationship with the truth." Hence, if you are inspired or annoyed by anything I say today, you can't say I didn't warn you. Okay. I have decided to talk about a new religion I have started today for our modern age. In the program, we called it Lite, but that was just a placeholder. I was not born into a religious family. My mother's parents were Catholics, and my father grew up in whatever church they happened to be living in at the time. For their children, my parents' idea was to focus on the golden rule. Treat others as you would like to be treated yourself. They took care of their neighbors. They lent money to people in need, fully expecting it would never be repaid. They did volunteer work at the YMCA and at our schools. They picked up other people's trash and did so many of other unappreciated things. Hence, when it was time for Jean and me to learn to find a spiritual home for our family, we knew we had found the place when we found UUCCWC. Through the years, people have been surprised that I am a member of an organized religion. This is understandable given my suspicious attitude and chemistry background. Like many chemists, I hesitate to believe something is real unless I can test it and hopefully set it on fire. However, I explain to my skeptics that UU are different. Often they ask me to explain our philosophies and beliefs. I could launch into a detailed description of our basic tenets of both Unitarianism and Universalism. I could tell them about the 7 principles. However, I don't do this for 2 reasons. Primarily, and honestly, I can't remember all of the stuff. Secondly, I doubt they want to hear it all. Instead, I've come up with 2 key points to describe being a UU. Point 1, to be Unitarian, you need to follow the golden rule. Keep this in mind, folks, for my new religion. Point 2, being a UU doesn't mean you can't have other spiritual practices. You don't even have to believe in God. You can follow the teachings of Christianity, Judaism, paganism, or any other ism. Being a Unitarian means you're on your own for the path to growth. As a high school teacher, I've often thought to myself, how do we get the next generation of thinkers in the pews? The answer came to me as I told one of my students for the 5th time to put their phone away and pay attention. Think of the world we live in now. We have YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, Instagram, Twitter, texting, WhatsApp, Telegram, Uber, Discord, and Zoom. I'm sure most of us can remember when your only choice of coffee was regular or decaf. Younger people have grown up in a world where virtually anything is available at any time. This is when I realized a key idea. Moving forward, spiritual development must have a pause button. So it became clear to me that a new religion for our modern age is needed. Today, all of you are fortunate enough to be at its official unveiling. It is based on 3 key points. Hey, I should see some pencils moving, folks. Remember, there's a quiz later. Point 1, my new religion will be based on the golden rule. Anybody can remember one rule. Think about all the good it can do. The 10 Commandments, 10? I can't even remember my own 9-digit social security number. You expect me to remember 10 Commandments? No way. It's the golden rule, point 1. Point 2, we have short attention spans nowadays. The in-person services of my new religion will require laughing out loud and unpredictability. It doesn't matter why the parishioners are together in my religion, it's just that they are together. Humor and pet videos will lead to spiritual development. Every service will be a mix-up. Just think about the possibilities. Charity beach ball volleyball in the pews. Karaoke, mahjong lessons, or making a TikTok video. If you want to bring younger people and ideas, ask yourself, would you come to get out of bed at 9 a.m. if you had been Ubering until 2 a.m.? Obscure 17th century German hymns really don't pull in the 16 to 24-year-old demographic. Point number 3, my new religion will embrace the fact that most people will not be able to physically attend the service. But let's be honest, watching an hour-long Zoom service can be painful for those who suffer through long online classes through COVID. So my new religion allows for community sharing at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. It also allows for binge spiritual growth, i.e. the Netflix or the Amazon Prime model. Pop quiz. Diane, what is the guiding principle of my new religion?
The golden rule.
Excellent answer, excellent answer. See me for chocolate afterwards. You'll obviously do well on the quiz. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my new religion. The Church of Fran. Now, can anybody tell me what this is from? The Nanny, excellent. Okay, for those of you who are not paying attention during the 90s, Fran Fine is the main character of the television series The Nanny. As a quick synopsis, the series takes place in the Sheffield mansion in Manhattan. Maxwell Sheffield, an extremely wealthy widower, is floundering raising his 3 young children. As fate would have it, a door-to-door cosmetic salesgirl named Fran Fine shows up on his doorstep one day when he is in desperate need of a nanny. Reluctantly, he hires her, and the rest is history. It is a story in contrast. He is English, uptight, Oxford-educated, and emotionally stunted. She is from a large Jewish family, has, as you can see, style and flair, and grew up in Queens. Famously, she also has a nasal voice and laugh that could strip the bark from a redwood tree. Of course, she instantly bonds with the children and starts running the household on day 1. There are 169 episodes. I think it's fair, and Jean will back me up, that I have seen every one of them at least 5 times. Although it was shot in the 90s, many of the episodes have ideas that touch on things that are still pertinent today. Things like grief, shame, charity, family strife, forgiveness, trust, race, and most importantly, love. So much of the human experience in only 22 minutes. So by now, you're probably asking yourself 2 questions. First, why would you base your new religion on a 90s sitcom? And for the record, I am not elevating Fran Drescher, the actress, to a deity, okay? It's just an idea. Second question, what was Jean thinking when she married you? I can only answer the first question. If you watch The Nanny, you know it embraces everything my new religion needs. 1, it's funny, and many of the episodes focus on the golden rule, otherwise known as WWFD. What would Fran do? 2, it stresses that family is everything, and everyone, I stress everyone, can be family. For example, Ray Charles played the fiance of Fran's grandmother. Can anyone else think of a show in the 90s that showed an elderly, sexually active biracial couple? It'd be hard-pressed to find a showing that right now. It shows that family and friends, not money, bring happiness. And also, let's be honest, lots of aggravation at times. The show stresses you should be proud of your own style. That means you want to wear a tail to church? Go for it. You be you. Whether you shop at a thrift shop or Saks Fifth Avenue, you should embrace what makes you you. It reminds us to always show charity to the poor. It gently reminds us we will make mistakes on a regular basis. We need to own them and try to make them right. And lastly, in seriousness, it stresses that problems can only be solved by talking about them, preferably over food. This message is especially critical in today's hyper-partisan world. Remember, many of our enemies on the other side of an issue have voluntarily put on uniforms and died for our right to disagree. This does not make their position correct, but we must remember that people with different opinions are not any less than we are. As I know as a teacher, solving problems only takes place with positive conversation, not by condemnation. I struggle with that myself. It's so easy to say the person on the other side of the issue is totally wrong and there's no value to them. I think we all probably are guilty of that sometimes. The Church of Fran will approach spiritual development with a different way than most. Franism, as I call it, is focused on the simple idea of bringing family together. It considers it a win when people simply strike up a conversation. Humorous dog and cat videos can be shown before the service starts. After all, who doesn't like watching puppies and kittens? The show celebrates outrageous fashion and style, so services will occasionally have fashion shows judged by the kids. Grandmas, or to be fair, grandpas, wearing Fran wigs, should be an absolute lock with the TikTok crowd, all right? Maybe we could have tattoo contests. The messages of the services could be based on the episodes of the shows. Think about it. Imagine being able to talk about the idea of Franism while you play Jenga or dominoes. Of course, the spiritual development of all of the services will be assisted with cookies, because things are always better when you have cookies. Now, of course, the people that watch the services at 2 a.m. on Tuesday won't be able to participate in the karaoke or mahjong lessons. However, they will be able to enjoy the message. The nanny has a huge online following, so regardless of the time, there are always people online to which to share their thoughts. And of course, with Franism, you can always binge watch the services. Joining the Church of Fran is very easy. Watch at least 3 episodes, including the pilot. I recommend season 1, episode 22, which uses a mother-daughter beauty pageant storyline to touch upon the death of Mrs. Sheffield and how it affected the children. On a lighter note, season 1, episode 18 is the first one where Mr. Sheffield and Miss Fran kiss. And yes, before you say it, I really do need to get a life, okay? Jean tells me that all the time. Second thing you need to do in the Church of Fran. Each day, do something good for your fellow travelers. Donate some of your money or time for a charity. The amount doesn't matter. Pick up some trash while you're out for a walk. Offer to help somebody who's loading something into their car at Home Depot. Rake your neighbor's leaves. Maybe help make coffee for one of our services. For the record, Jewish guilt is a very common theme in the nanny, okay? You know who I'm talking to here. Okay. Drag something fabulous out of your closet on every day and wear it around, even if it's just in the house. Express yourself when it comes to your clothing. Each day, if you're joining the Church of Nanny, reach out and hug at least 3 people. Now, what do I mean by that? Maybe you don't have 3 people you can physically hug, but this is what I mean. Smile at someone behind the counter and make a connection. Don't just say hello. Really reach out and smile at them. Maybe talk with them for a few minutes. Make sure they know that you're there for them, you know. Make that connection. Maybe put a Post-it note on one of your coworkers' desks. It's somebody who helped you out, maybe went a little above and beyond what they needed to do. Maybe send a text to a family member you haven't talked to in a while saying, hey, I was just thinking about you. And of course, whenever possible, nothing beats an actual hug. The important part is just reach out that day and try to make a little connection. See if you can do it 3 times a day. In conclusion, I hope I inspired you to join me on the new path of Franism. As you walk forward as a nannyite, that's what I've decided we're going to be called, nannyites, always remember the golden rule, and when in doubt, ask yourself WWFD, what would Fran do? In Franism, family is everything, and everyone can be family. It is a simple, timeless message for today's streaming, expedited shipping, app-based world. Simply asking WWFD could change the world. Oh yeah, I lied about the quiz. Thank you.